Hey everyone, I'm Alex Weaver. Welcome to another episode of the World of eNASCAR. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, but it's also been a crazy month of June in eNASCAR, so let's get you up to speed. In the Coca-Cola iRacing Series, June featured a wild all-star event and a race at the Brickyard. Joe Gibbs Racing's Graham Bolin stole the win at North Wilkesboro, and Keegan Lahey took home the win at Indy. In eNASCAR Heat Pro League, the month featured races at Talladega, Iowa, and Atlanta Motor Speedway. And some drama in Atlanta as Brandon Gritton locked himself into the championship race, but not without upsetting a few other drivers. Well, now that you're up to speed, let's take a look back at the iRacing Coca-Cola Series recap for the month of June.
Let's go All-Star Racing from North Wilkesboro. Clampitt spins, Reynolds into the outside wall, and from P3, Graham Bolin wins. Let's go racing from Indianapolis. Round number 9 at the Brickyard is green. Oh, it's gonna get tight. It's now Lahey to the outside. They're gonna drag race down the front straightaway. Keegan Lahey for the 7th time in his career, a Coke Series winner.
So a lot going down in the iRacing Coca-Cola Series. We're now going to welcome in a driver from that series, Logan Clampitt, who races for Burton Kligerman Esports. Logan, so far this season, we're getting close to things wrapping up here, but I have to ask you how your season, if you had to describe it, what would you think so far?
The season's been going pretty well. Honestly, the beginning part was amazing. We finished 4th at Daytona. It's been kind of going a little downhill the past few races.
So I want you to touch a little bit on your all-star race at North Wilkesboro.
We had, I think, a caution with like 10 to go or something, and Blake started 3rd. And eventually got up to me, and through the last corner, he was about a car length and a half back, 2 car lengths, and kind of just sent it, and pretty much took me out. It was winner take all, I'll give it that. It was $500 to win. Obviously, very frustrating to win or not win that race.
I know some things kind of carried over to Indy. So what happened there?
Yeah, I didn't do it. I didn't rate or wreck him as bad as he did at North Wilkesboro to me, but I just kind of sent a little message to him at Indy. Obviously, this was a points race, so it was a little different. But in my opinion, if you race me, really bad in any race, especially when there's money on the line, and I have family and friends watching and sponsors, and my team owner Parker.
Is the drama done?
Between the drama, Blake and I we talked about it this morning. I reached out to him and I told him my opinions and stuff like that. And there's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't see. His childish, acts and everything like that. Afterwards, it frustrated me a lot. I apologize to him for Indianapolis and everything. So I think we're on good terms. Hopefully, it's definitely going to make me nervous entering Loudon. But I think we're on good terms, and I'll definitely be racing him clean from here on out.
All right. Well, they say that drivers and gamers have a very long-term memory. So we'll see if that continues on the track. But good luck the rest of the season, and good luck getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me.
Well, we heard from Logan. Now we're going to get the other side of things. We're going to welcome in now Blake Reynolds from Team Dillon Esports. Blake, what's your take on the whole thing?
Yeah, I didn't think it would carry into Indy. Just a non-points incident just carried over into a points event.
Is the drama over between you two?
I hope so, but you never know. It's New Hampshire short track. We got bumpers now, so not really we don't have to worry about the aerodynamics of our cars too much at New Hampshire. So who knows? It'll just happen in the race.
And I know, you're obviously worried about your own race and just competing to the best of your ability. So for the rest of the 2020 season, what does it look like for you? I know that you're trying to crack into the top 20. So how do you get there?
Well, just got to keep working on the setups every week. Just make sure we got the speed down, and I'm on top of being able to conquer these tracks. We got some tough ones coming up. We got some super speedways, of course, kind of random. Then we have some road courses coming up too. So just going to have to keep practicing, get get working on it.
All right, Blake. Well, I appreciate you joining us. Good luck the rest of the season, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.
Well, we saw two guys who were involved in that drama, but now we're going to get the flip side of that because one driver took advantage of all of the drama and ends up getting the checkered flag at Indy. We're going to welcome in now Keegan Lahey, driving for Denny Hamlin Racing. Keegan, you had a late race pass that was insane for you, but you end up getting the checkered flag for your second win of 2020.
Yeah, what a nail biter. I had no idea if I was really going to catch them and pass them. I was really racing the guy in second as well because I knew he would be really fast. That was Chris Shearburn. But yeah, it was definitely a nail biter, and I had to pass right around the outside, which was pretty sketchy.
What does the rest of the season look like for you? Because the start of it has been, it's been pretty spot on.
I'm really happy to be at the top of the standings because it feels like a bit of a relief here, and now I can just go for wins because it looks like I'm pretty locked into the final 8 at least.
Your team owner, Denny Hamlin, who has hit his hot streak too. That 11 has been outstanding in the NASCAR Cup Series. So what's that relationship been like with you guys? Because I know he's so active when it comes to helping you guys out.
Yeah, he just texted me actually. He congratulated me on the race win last night. It's kind of funny because it seems like every time he has a big win, I follow up with one or he follows up mine because my first win this year came at Daytona on the Tuesday before the Daytona 500. And then he had his, that crazy finish at the end of his Daytona 500 and came out with the win. So
maybe there's some statistics at the end of the season we can see if we can back up those stats if you and Denny both winning. But as far as with him racing in that Pro Invitational Series that the NASCAR Cup Series guys raced in for a while there while we were in kind of the stoppage from our racing, did you give him any pointers? Can you go to Denny Hamlin and be like, hey, bud, here's what you need to do?
I felt like I was going to be doing that. Maybe the first week or two I did, but it's amazing how quickly he picked up. Now, he's been a sim racer for years, longer than I've been a sim racer, so he knows how to do this. Honestly, I'd hate to have to race him in the Coca-Cola Series because he'd be a pretty tough competitor.
All right, Keegan. Well, congratulations on the win in Indy, and congratulations on all the points in 2020. We look forward to seeing what you can do for the rest of the season.
Okay. Thanks, Alex.
All right, well, now let's take a look at some of the best wrecks in the world of eNASCAR for the month of June.
More contact. Is Brandon Cattell around? Is he going to save it? No, he's not. That's Boost into the infield.
Car flying into the air, up off the ground, down onto the apron, comes up on the track, they crash into the wall.
The caution flag is out.
So it has already been a crazy season 2 in iRacing, and we're going to welcome in our friend of the show who I haven't seen in a long time either, Evan Pasoko, the voice of iRacing. Welcome in, AP.
It feels like it's been forever, but we've still been busy on the Coca-Cola front. We've had a couple of crazy races just, at Indy this week, and of course that crazy All-Star race a couple of weeks back that people are still talking about.
So we talked to a lot of the drivers that were key players for the month of June, and in those 2 races in particular. So break down kind of those 2 races and especially those finishes for me.
Yeah, so basically we had our all-star race at North Wilkesboro in the middle of the month. So it was a non-points event, and we wanted to mix it up. So we opted to go for the NASCAR truck. So obviously they drive very different than these Cup Series cars, and it was cash on the line. That was thrilling. There was so much chatter on Twitter and online after that. I was just saying, I think that's the most chatter I've seen post-race.
It's always a good finish when they go to Twitter. That's how you know that they're really irritated at each other. All right, so we're halfway through the season already? Hard to believe. Give me a little bit of like a clear picture of what the season we've already seen this season and what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, so we just got past that halfway point. So now we're 9 races into the regular season, and there's 7 left until we get to the playoffs. And of those 9 different races, we have seen 6 different race winners. So it has been very spread out. I think we've seen a lot of drivers get opportunities to get race wins. A first career win for Colin Keister a couple of weeks back at Charlotte. Not as surprising, though, the fact that now Keegan Lahey, courtesy of the win at Indy, is a 2-time race winner this year. And we talked a lot back a couple of months ago about how good Ryan Luza was when he went on that 3-race win streak. So we do have a couple of those names that we expect to be up there that are in it. But I think with 7 races left to go to the playoffs, there's still plenty of opportunities to race your way into the postseason and fight for that $300,000 when it's all said and done.
Well, Evan, you mentioned that we had those usual suspects that we can always kind of note that are going to be running up front or have it figured out. But has there been a big surprise for you in this 2020 season of a driver that has figured it out quickly?
Well, it's actually going to be a driver who figured it out quickly but backwards. So I've been really impressed this season with Ray Alfala. So we talk about, surprises. Of course, the multi-time champ, he did not do really good last year. He didn't even make the top 20 to stay in this series. Went down to the Pro Series, won the championship, and that got back up to this Coke Series. He surprised me. Also, some other drivers. I know that he was in the playoffs last year, but Garrett Lowe has really come into his element. He's the highest driver in the points without a win this year. Those guys have been really impressive, and hopefully, for their sake, they stay top 8 through these next 7 rounds.
Yeah, hopefully. A lot more to come, though, in that series. But if you're cool with it, we're going to play a little game, hot or not. I'm going to throw up either a driver, a team, some sort of scenario, and I want you to tell me whether it's hot or not. So first one I have for you is Jimmy Mullis.
He started off not, but he's getting hot. And that's the key, because you mentioned a lot can happen in 7 rounds, but he's down outside of the top 8 playoff bubble in the points. It's a daunting thing to look up at some of those names. I mean, even the drivers just outside of the playoff bubble, guys like Bolin, Nichols, and Clampitt, you're going to have to rely on them not doing well to gain anything. But he's really been good for the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to move him to the hot category for now. The key is he has to stay hot through the end of this.
Yeah, I'll ask you in a couple months. That may change. This
we'll
next
see,
one,
we'll
I
see
already
if it's
know
an old take exposed or not. We'll find out how well it turns out.
Exactly. I already know what I'm going to go ahead and answer this one for you. This one's hot because the bubble picture that we have right now of those guys trying to crack into the top 20 or stay in the top 20 if they already are is highly contested right now. Break that down for me.
Yeah, so basically, if you want to stay in this series, you need to stay top 20 in the points. 21st through 40th get relegated to the Pro Series, which I mentioned happened to Ray Alfala last year. And basically, you have to requalify in. So we talk about this a lot. There's no guarantees. You don't sign a 3 or a 4-year deal. You have to compete to stay in this series every year. So the top 20 is kind of the battle within the battle while we focus on the playoff. Everybody wants to stay here. And as of now, your defending champ, Zach Novak, is actually out. Now, it's only by 4 points. And there's a lot of other big names down there as well. But, if we told you after Homestead, when he won that championship on NBC, that halfway through the regular season next year, he wouldn't even be in a spot to stay in the series, I think he would have called you crazy.
All right, last one, Keegan Lahey.
Hot, and he's going to stay hot. Listen, no shock here that he's been good, and he continues to be hot now as a 2-time race winner. But looking up to the next 7 races in the end of this regular season, he doesn't have race wins at any of them. That doesn't concern me, though. When Lahey's not winning, he's still a top 5 car. Lusa has some of those ups and downs, and you have those ebbs and flows over a season. But I know it's early, a long way to go. But Keegan Lahey has been the most impressive driver for me in 2020.
All right. Well, I've always been told the one thing that matters the least is the score at halftime. So
that's true.
The rest of the season to go. We appreciate you joining us and breaking it down. One of the best on the mic. So we'll see you for the rest of the season.
It was good to be back, and we'll see everybody at New Hampshire.
All right, guys, switching gears and turning the page over to the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Let's take a look at the recap for the month of June.
Getting ready for green. Virtual Talladega Super Speedway, the site. Coming down to the stripe, past the tri-oval, through the grass goes Harvind. Cars crashing to the line. It's going to be the work number 2. Side by side, coming to the stripe. Brooks is going to be able to hold off. Field takes the green. We are underway at Virtual Iowa. Taking the victory at Iowa is Giles. For the 4th time this season, Justin Brooks will find victory. We're underway at Atlanta. This could spell trouble right in front of Buttafuoco. Cross the stripe. Oh! 3 wide, car into the air. Buttafuoco will finish 3rd, it looks like. Brooks goes over again. The Oscar Mayer, number 6 of Walker, claims the win. Oh, this thing's getting extremely close. Contact made. Car up the track. That was Harvind. Crashes hard. Coming to the checkered flag for a segment win, Brandon Britton.
So clearly a lot of drama already in the season and one of the most dramatic finishes coming out of Atlanta. I'm going to now welcome in the 3 guys who were involved in the finish of that race. First up, we have Brandon Britton, who is the reigning champ with Stuart Haas Esports. Then we're going to welcome in Kyle Arnold from Germain Gaming and Josh Harvin, who is the vet around these parts from Levine Family Gaming. So Brandon, I want to start with you because you end up winning in Atlanta, but I want you to break down that finish from your side of things.
Well, we came to that green-white checkered, and Bear was on 30% tires, and he came down in front of me. The closing rate was ridiculously fast. It was the last lap. We were going to get locked in. There wasn't no lifting at that point. We pushed him up the hill, got under him, and went on to win the race. That's what we were there to do, and that's what we did.
Well, I know that winning that race ultimately caused you to advance to the championship later on in the season. But, Josh, I want to hear from you because you were leading when all of this drama went down in those closing laps. So do you agree with that story?
Hey, if he can sleep with it, I can sleep with it. Don't expect no favors later in the year. Might cost you more money than you think.
Kyle, all right, so you've been kind of listening to both sides of things. What's your opinion on that? Because you were involved in the drama as well, and I know that there's a lot on the line for every single one of these races. So what was going through your head in those final laps?
Yeah, we had some good strategy that put us out front by about a second half. And I knew once they linked up, it was just the draft was so strong there. They was going to catch me, and it was going to be really close to the end. It was all take and no give. I got passed and got put into the wall. Brandon sent it on the apron on me. So, it's I understand we're going for, big money this year, especially with them paying, how you place. It's not just being a part of something anymore. You got to be able to perform.
I do see where Red and me, I got into Red, but the ordeal with Bear, he was just on old tires. He was way off the paces and was in the way. He got moved. I didn't put him in the wall. I didn't wreck him. I moved him up the hill, and that's Rubbins racing. I mean, we were going for the win, like I said a minute ago, and that's what we got.
All right, Bear, I see you shaking your head a little bit.
We got a 4-lane wide racetrack, and you got to run through somebody to beat them after you just choked it away right before the caution ended. That ain't racing. That's just a desperate action by a desperate man, and we're gonna find out later this year how much it really meant to him.
Obviously, everybody after the race takes to social media and has their opinions, and you guys are entitled to your opinion at the end. But was there anything that kind of bothered somebody after the finish at Atlanta? What was said on social?
No, I think it's really good for the sport. I mean, it's a good show of character for all of us. I mean, we can hate each other for 30 minutes after the race. At the end of the day, I mean, we all like each other. It's the competitive nature. Social media it's a neat thing, but it's also a tragic thing because everybody's brave on a keyboard.
We've all been racing together for 5, 6, 7 plus more years now. We know how each other race. I know he'd have done the same thing if the roles reversed. So it don't bother me. I don't pay it no attention no more.
All right, Bear, what you got to say? You can't mouth over there and not tell me what you're saying.
No, I don't have no negative. Look, this is like you said. We all been running together a long time, so I shouldn't have expected anything different, right? Go figure. Joke was on me. We don't mind losing to somebody else, but we damn sure ain't losing to each other because there's like 14 of us, and we're 10 out of the 14 have been here for the last 2 years, and we've raced each other beyond that. So the competitive nature has just grown more and more and more and more. And you get this big powder keg and it explodes one night like it did in Atlanta.
Well, I have to say thank you because you guys have put on quite a show. So regardless of if you're, in the words of Kyle Busch, going to get ice cream together after the races or not, and if you're going to stay friends, who knows? But thank you guys for putting on some good drama and some good finishes. We appreciate you guys, and good luck the rest of the season. I know it's a handful left to the championship, so keep it up.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, so we've seen some of the drama. We've seen some of the key players involved in that drama, but we know that we have a lot more left to go. We're now going to welcome in a familiar face to the world of eNASCAR here, my friend Rusty Walrus. Well, Rusty, you were sitting there listening to it, and you heard they ended on a nice note, but I don't know if it was really a takeaway of being nice. What was your take on those three guys going at it?
I love the drama, and the best part about this is these guys have been racing each other for years, so they know kind of what to expect out of each other, and they really should know what to expect out of Brandon Gritton. He saw an opportunity, he sent it. Kind of did a kind of questionable move on Kyle Arnold to move up out of the way to get into the lead to put himself in the championship, but then late in the race, he heard it from Bear. He's not really taking the responsibility or the blame for staying out on old tires, being in the way, but you got to congratulate Brandon Gritton for just being on it and kind of moving the Bear up out of the way and just going forward and putting the defending champion back in the championship.
So you've been firsthand seeing all the action. So I have to ask you, where do we stand as far as PlayStation and both Xbox seasons?
Yeah, we got to take a look at how the season schedule is set up, where we have 3 segments, and the winner of the segment is how we determine gets to advance into the championship. On the Xbox side, it's been a heavyweight battle between Daniel Buttafuoco and Justin Brooks. They're locked in. PlayStation 4 side, it's been super competitive each week, but Maxwell Castro got in, and then just this past week, Brandon Gritton, your defending champion, locked into the championship. And we have one more segment to go, and it's pretty much anyone's game on both platforms.
Yeah, everybody trying to get to that championship race, which is, we don't know yet. It's a surprise, so that will be exciting for them too. We know that fans always like a surprise during the season, or a Cinderella story. So is there a big surprise player for you in 2020?
You know, I've been looking at Chip Ganassi. They've decided to make the move to not bring back their veterans from season 1. They hired 2 rookies, and that's kind of a crazy move. A lot of the teams brought back their veterans that have a lot of experience, but they brought in 2 kind of unknowns to the pro league, and they've been performing. So Maxwell Castro won segment 1, and Luis Zader has also stepped up, and he's been running up front each and every week. So I'm very impressed by the gamble that's paying off for Chip Ganassi.
All right, so since you are our expert, I'm going to ask you what your favorite race so far of this season has been.
You know, I'm always going to look back to Watkins Glen. We brought the trucks to Watkins Glen for the first time in 20 years. And on the PlayStation 4 side, the leaders were beating and banging and swapping the lead the entire race. I've never seen anything like that at a road course in NASCAR. But these drivers just rose up to the occasion. And I still think about how that excitement just played out. And it's continued ever since then. It kind of set a precedent for the racing, the rivalries, and just the drama going forward. So I always look back to when we took the trucks to Watkins Glen.
All right, Rusty. Well, every time I have you on here, you always bring the energy. So if you're okay with it, we're going to play a little game. It's going to be hot or not. So I'm going to throw up a scenario, maybe a driver or a team or a track. You'll find out. And I want you to tell me if it's either hot or not. So first up, let's look at Kyle Arnold, because we expected him to be a heavy hitter and a player. Hot or not?
Kyle Arnold is probably the hottest driver out there right now on the PlayStation 4 side. He's putting himself in contention for wins each and every week. But he's kind of been on the receiving end of some late race contact. But this segment, he's keying in on segment 3 as his segment to get into the championship. I'm looking for Kyle Arnold to step up in an even bigger way going forward to get into the championship.
All right, next one, Team Penske Esports. They were really good last year, I know.
They're not as hot as they were in season 1. They do have 1 win. Corey Rothka picked it up at Talladega, but I'm waiting for Tedeschi to step up a little bit, Rothka to get the finishes. Penske has a little bit of work to do to get to that level they were at in season 1. I'd like to see those drivers kind of flex their muscle a little bit more going forward.
And last one, a track that I know you're excited about, Auto Club Speedway. Hot or not?
Oh, it's the hottest track out there in the game. It's one of the most popular tracks in the online community. Multi-groove racing, but the draft is going to play a key factor. I think everybody's got this one circled as a place they can win at. And if you saw Atlanta, nose to tail, beating and banging, Rubbins racing, I think we're going to see that at Auto Club coming down to the final corner of the last lap, and that's going to play a huge factor in to determine who gets into the championship.
All right, Rusty, we're looking forward to having you on the rest of the call for the season. We got the matching blazer memo just this time. But good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Well, thanks again to Rusty. Always brings the best energy. So now let's take a look at what's coming up for the month of July. For the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, they'll be racing on July 14th at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and July 28th at Michigan International Speedway. For eNASCAR Heat Pro League, they have a date on July 8th with Auto Club Speedway. Then July 16th, Head to Road America. July 22nd will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And July 29th will be a wild card race. Thanks to Evan, Rusty, and all of our driver guests for being a part of the show this month. Keep up with all things eNASCAR on eNASCAR.com. We leave you with the eNASCAR moment of the month, and we'll see you guys right back here next time.
That is the number 17 machine of Keister here, and we mentioned that opening on the back straightaway wall. Yeah, right there. It sticks out. I guess that's what happens when you're trying to use every single inch of the racetrack. Maybe that'll encourage some more drivers to give that more space next time.